Good morning, dear students. With God's abundant blessing, let us begin our class. During these lockdown days, you are happy that you are at home and you are not coming to school. But many of you also may be not happy because you are losing your friends. You are not having companionship, getting bored at home. Myself also very sad that we are not in physical contact. Anyhow, God has provided us this medium of communication. Okay, so the name of the chapter, as you can see you can see on the screen, how, when, and where India and the modern world. Before starting the lesson, I would like to tell you we have a wrong notion towards history. We think that history is a very boring and monotonous subject. It is all about learning and memorizing years and dates. My dear students, it is nothing like that. The whole and sole idea of this chapter is to ignite a kind of interest in this subject. In the first chapter, I will give you three lectures. This is my first lecture, and this in this first lecture we will study about two important topics, that is industrial revolution and its effects, India and the modern world, and British India. In second lecture we will study about sources of modern history, different inventions of 18th century, and importance of dates. And in the final lecture, that is the third lecture, we will do the book exercise along with the question answers. Okay, let us begin this. I will read paragraph and I will make you understand. Whenever I underline or circle any word, that is very important. You have to note that. Okay. The history of India is divided into ancient, medieval, and modern periods. This has been done to show that the society, economy, politics, and culture of each period are very different from those of the other periods. The differences between medieval times and modern times in our history are more basic. This is because changes in the modern times have been faster and more far reaching than ever before. So, in the first paragraph, we see that very important thing is that the complete history of the mankind is divided into three time periods. Okay, that is ancient, medieval, and modern periods. Here, I want to note that you already have studied in previous classes. Till then, I want to remind you that ancient history, it is all about century to first century to 7th 7th century. Okay, first century to 7th century. And medieval history is all about medieval history. Medieval history is all about 8th century to 17th century. Okay, 17th century. Modern history. Modern history. Modern history is, it is already given in your book also, 18th century onwards. Okay, 18th century onwards. Okay, thank you. Here you have to understand that the total mankind history is divided into three important time periods: ancient, medieval, and modern. Now we are in which era? Modern era. Okay, we are in modern era. Why it is done so? Why it is divided? It is divided to understand and to show that the different time periods have different social condition, economic condition, political condition, and cultural condition. If you see the ancient time period, the condition was different. Medieval time period, the condition was different. Modern time period, totally modernized world. You can see that we have studied that in ancient times people heard stories. Nowadays, who is hearing stories? Nowadays we can just watch movie, just put on the television, TV. You can you can see movie, or can this kind of. But during the olden days, the scenario was completely different. Communication system was not at all there. Uh, People, they didn't have uh, much more better life. So this is how. So to show this, the differences of different time periods, the history has been divided into different time periods. Okay. If you compare medieval and modern history, you can see far-reaching change in the modern era than the medieval period. Second paragraph. You have already read about the ancient and medieval periods in India in class 6 and 7. Let us now turn towards the modern period of India, in which covers the duration of 707 to 1947 AD. Already I told you 18th century onwards we start the modern period. The next line, it is written that the modern period first started in the 15th and 16th centuries in Europe. In case of Europe, it is modern era is considered to be started in 15th and 16th century. Okay, 15th and 16th century. But in case of India, it is about around the 18th and 19th century. Okay, 18th and 19th century. So let us start the first topic: industrial revolution and its effects. So what do you understand by industrial revolution? First paragraph, see that the industrial revolution, just I underline, industrial revolution is a term used for important changes and progress in the fields of agriculture, manufacturing, mining, transport, technology that occurred in Europe between the latter half of the 18th century and beginning of the 19th century. Okay, very nice. Did you understand? Okay. Did you? I think you might have understood a little bit. I will make you understand more clear. You see, what is industrialization? It is the time period in which a lot of very important changes took place in terms of, or in the field of, especially agriculture, manufacturing, mining, transport, technology. And that also occurred between the latter half of the 18th century and beginning of the 19th century. That means latter half of the, that means 1750s to 1810, 20, 30, like that. These are the years. This is the span of time in which a lot of changes could be seen in the field of agriculture, manufacturing, mining, transport, and this is what called as industrial revolution. These changes affected the social, economic, and cultural lives in different countries of Europe. So that means industrial revolution took place first in Europe, and that too in England, and it had a lot of consequence. I mean, it impacted a lot the society, economy, and politics of whole European countries. Okay. The Industrial Revolution started in England and spread throughout Europe, North America, and the rest of the world. In England and elsewhere, almost every aspect of daily life was influenced in some way or the other way by the progress brought about by the industrial revolution. Already I told, because of industrialization, lot of progress was made, and the daily life of the people was influenced. As a result of the industrial revolution, England's industrial production increased. See, what was the impact of revolution? That can be seen in one example, that is here in the last paragraph. You can see 75, page number 75, last paragraph. You see, as a result of the industrial revolution, this is one example of the effect of industrial revolution. Okay, as a result of the industrial revolution, England's industrial production increased much more than ever before in the past. So, England stopped importing goods and products from outside. See, what happened because of industrial revolution, many of the industries were set up in England, and production was increased. So, England now thinking of stopping the import of foreign goods, in the sense import of products from other countries. The next sentence again further says that instead England now felt the need to expand the market to sell industrial goods beyond its own boundaries. As goods were produced in bulk, they were cheaper than the handmade goods. See, industrial revolution took place in, especially in Britain, whole of Europe. Rather than Europe, many other countries only handmade goods were used. But you see, when Britain started producing industrial products, it was cheaper than, I mean, these goods were cheaper than the handmade goods. So these cheaper goods were more demanded. So now England is in a position to export these goods rather than importing the goods from other countries. With the aim to search for more markets, the English East India Company was founded in England in 1600. Very important. One short question also is there. Very important. East India Company was founded in England in 1600. In 1600. Okay. As we have read in book 7, Thomas Roe, the envoy means ambassador of the British King James I. That means that time in Britain, who was the king? James I, King James I. His envoy was sent to India. That time India was ruled by the Mughal emperor Jahangir. And very interestingly, he when the envoy of British King James I came to India, he had come with the aim of asking the trading rights, and Jahangir also gave him the trading rights. Okay, second line is third line, you see, after about a century, a later Mughal emperor Farrukh Shah granted important trading rights to English merchants through a royal fireman. Uh, in the time of Jahangir, the British envoy came to India, and he asked for the trading rights. And during the rule of Mughal Emperor Farrukh Shah, the royal fireman. What is the meaning of fireman? Fireman means order. So, through the royal order, trading rights were granted. Trading rights was granted to the British. Gradually, the East India Company took over the total control over India's economy, society, and culture, turning India into British colony. Okay, so that means this is how they got the trading rights. They came to India, they started trading, but slowly they captured India and colonized. The word colony is used, very important, colony and imperialist country. These two important words, colony and imperialistic country. So, what is colony? Colony is used for a country that is ruled by a more powerful country. Okay, that means India is a colony. It was ruled by a more powerful country, that is Britain. Yeah, ruled by Britain. So Britain here is imperialistic country. Okay, imperialistic country means the country, one country which ruled over the other country. That is called imperialistic country. Imperialist country. It makes what is the aim of the imperialist country? The next line. It makes maximum benefit. It makes this line. It makes maximum benefit by exploiting the economy of colony. That means whenever the foreign countries or the more powerful countries they colonized other countries, their sole aim was to exploit the natural resources and economy of the colony. When a country becomes a colony of another country, it leads to many political, economic, social, and cultural changes in the colony. This process is called colonization. What is colonization? It is a process in which a colonized country experience a lot of changes in the field of politics, economic, social, and cultural. Okay. Following the Industrial Revolution, a competition began among European powers to explore and build colonies that would serve as markets for products made in their respective countries and also supply resources to support industrial production in the imperialist country. As a result, India became a colony of the British Empire. So here just I want to like a flashback, I want to remind that actually first the Dutch came, then the Portuguese, then French, then lastly we are ruled by, colonized by the British. Okay, so these are all European countries like Dutch, Portuguese. Portuguese related to our Vasco da Gama, 1498 discovered, discovered the sea route to India. After that, they started coming to our country because our country was rich in many of the natural resources, spices. Okay, so this is how you see many of the European countries they started to make market other countries. I mean they wanted to sell their products, whatever products they manufacture in their countries they wanted to sell it. Huh. For that purpose they came to different countries, and in to India also British came, and British our country was captured by the British. It became a British colony or British empire. So here you can see, just like I want to zoom it. See this, very nice. It is very small, but what is this? No more. It is written here. I had the privilege to visit this place. It is Victoria Memorial, Calcutta. I hope you many of I have a limited place. I have visited very limited places. But I think you have gone to many historical places. If you get time and privilege to visit this Victoria Memorial that is in Calcutta, you can visit it. It was built in between 1996 20 and 21. Okay, so it is in Calcutta. Okay, India. Second topic: India in the modern world. After Aurangzeb's death in 1707, the Mughal Empire went into a rapid decline. Very important line. Please underline it. Okay. After Aurangzeb's death in 1707, the Mughal Empire went into a rapid decline. The later Mughal rulers did not have the capabilities needed to hold this vast empire together. Powerful new kingdoms were established by the Marathas and the Sikhs. The rulers of Hyderabad, Awadh, Carnatic, and Bengal ruled independently over their provinces. New powers constantly, these new powers constantly fought for supremacy among themselves. What happened? After the death of Aurangzeb, Many of the different dynasties they started ruling over different parts of our country. Marathas, Sikhs, in Oudh, Carnatic, Bengal, many different regions had a different petty rulers. Sorry, these rulers they started fighting against each other for their supremacy. What is supremacy? They wanted to be in top position. They wanted to dominate over others, so they had, they did not have good relationship with each other. This was the condition. Okay, second paragraph. This was also the time when merchants from Europe began establishing trading bases along Indian coast. In the course of time, the Europeans took advantage of their rivalries among the Indian rulers and made their own bases stronger. The Europeans also fought among themselves for control over the hugely profitable trade with India. Soon the British had established themselves as the main powers in India. Within 100 years, they had moved from being, very important line, from being mere traders to being rulers of the Indian subcontinent. Okay, so what happened? In this paragraph, we see that so when the petty rulers of a country they were fighting against each other for their supremacy, at that point of time, that period of time also, the British merchants they came and they captured the opportunity and they started establishing their bases. They became stronger and stronger. Another important thing here to note is, you see, many European nations they came, like the Dutch, Portuguese, French, at last the British. So these European countries also they also started fighting against each other. At last, what happened? The British they overpowered the others and they colonized a country. This 76, the second last paragraph, last line. Within 100 years, within 100 years, huh, they had moved from being mere traders to being uh, rulers of the Indian subcontinent. They were mere traders, but slowly, within 100 years, they became powerful. They took control of everything. They became the ruler of our country or Indian subcontinent. Okay, what is Indian subcontinent? We will see later on. Okay, it will come. This year, you will learn about the impact of 200 years of British rule on India. You will also learn how, after years of being exploited, the Indians gradually came together to fight. Okay, here in this chapter, I mean in this class, we'll study how we're ruled over by the British. Hmm. For 200 years, and after that we understood the exploitation of the British. Gradually we fought against them, and we got united, and the British got defeated, and we ruled over, we we chased them, and we got the freedom. These all things we will study 1947 up to 1947, how we achieved independence. All these things we will study. It is also one important new question is there, you see here. No more, sorry. In 1817, James Mill published a book titled A History of British India. That means your question will be asked, which book was published by James Mill and in which year? The year is 1817. The name of the book is A History of British India. Okay, now let us jump to the next topic: British rule Indian subcontinent and British India. The Indian subcontinent includes India and its neighbors like Pakistan, Bangladesh, Bhutan, Nepal, Maldives, and Sri Lanka. Okay, now you understood Indian subcontinent में कौन कौन आता है? Pakistan, Bangladesh, Bhutan, Nepal, Maldives, and Sri Lanka. It is almost like a continent, and its geographical features are different from the rest of Asia. It is surrounded by three water bodies: Bay of Bengal, the Arabian Sea, and the Indian Ocean. It is interesting to know that during the British rule, the term India was used not only for the country but for most of what we call the Indian subcontinent today. ओके, आज के टाइम में जो इंडियन सब कॉन्टिनेंट है, उसी टाइम में इंडिया का मतलब ही पूरी इंडियन सब कॉन्टिनेंट को इंडियन सब कॉन्टिनेंट समझा जाता था. ठीक है, ओके. Now, next line you see, there were no fixed borders or boundaries at that time between a country and its neighbors like Afghanistan, Nepal, and even Burma. What is the new name of Burma? Myanmar. The question is there in the book exercise. What is the new name of Burma? It is Myanmar. It is there in that bracket. Among other neighbors, Pakistan came into existence only during the last days of the British rule, while Bangladesh, earlier known as East Pakistan, achieved nationhood in 1971. I hope once I came to your class as a substitution period, that time how India fought against Pakistan and helped Bangladesh to be divided from Pakistan. That time Bangladesh was after in 1947, India was divided into two nations. One is Pakistan and India. And 1971, Bangladesh, which was formerly known as East Pakistan, it was actually under Pakistan. And 1971, Bangladesh was helped by India to be separate, to get rid of, to be free from Pakistan, because Pakistan was not looking after Bangladesh very well. So the people of Bangladesh were not happy. So that means we see how different nations were created, and how the British rule came to an end. This is how we see the modern history of our country. Instead of national boundaries, there were regional and provincial boundaries dividing various states ruled by their own rulers. Gradually, as the British became the strongest political power, most of the states shown in the map came under their direct rule. Since India was under British rule, it was named British India. Okay, so we see that means all Indian subcontinent continent was under British rule. और इंडियन सब कॉन्टिनेंट में कौन कौन आता है, ऑलरेडी वी हैव सीन दैट. ओके, thank you. We'll see in the next lecture sources of modern history, invention of 18th century, importance of dates. Thank you. May God bless you all. Have a nice day.